Hello, everybody in St. Louis. I'm Bob Shay. I'm the chair of the St. Louis Artists Guild's Illustrators section. And tonight we have superhero Tom Huck here tonight, who was our guest presenter for our first meeting in January. The crowd came out in droves. At least I think they were droves, right? It seemed like a drove.
Yeah, it was a drove.
And somebody told me that I looked like that I was on Downers tonight when you got talking, because usually I'm jumping in and doing things to help the speaker tonight, but I didn't have to do a damn thing to help this speaker tonight. He had lots of stories. First of all, Tom, tell us who you are and what the heck it is that you do.
Thanks, Shay. My name's Huck, Tom Huck, and I'm a printmaker.
Printmaker?
I'm a professional printmaker.
A printmaker? What does a printmaker do exactly?
We carve stuff out of blocks, plates, and we print stuff.
You're primarily known as a woodcut artist, are you not?
Woodcuts, yes.
And how big are some of these woodcuts that you do?
Very big, like 4 foot by 8 foot.
That's how I got to know who you were several years ago. When I saw one of your pieces, I said, is this a print? Is this a poster? Wait a minute.
Where was
That's a woodcut. It was right here.
It was here?
It was here.
That's cool. I didn't know that. Interesting.
And that's how I found out about you. And then when I started asking questions, I started getting weird phone calls in the middle of the night.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And you Googled it.
I did Google it.
And you'll see even more weird shit.
I know. I did Google it. So,
weird stuff.
Tom, would it be safe to say that when you do some of your narratives on these woodcuts, that we're not talking about things like puppies and kittens and so forth?
No. No puppies, no kittens, no unicorns.
No unicorns either?
Yes.
Have you ever done a rainbow?
No, but I did do a unicorn. I lied. He's called Old Swinehorn, but his, genitals are hanging out. It was one of my Christmas special prints.
Tom, if we had to say one thing to describe what it is that you do, what the perception is of your artwork, what would that be?
Phantasmagoric.
I also heard that you have sets of prints in permanent collections all over the United States.
Yes.
Such as, where would I go to see?
Embarrassing, but the Whitney, Chicago Art Institute, the Fogg Museum.
Fogg Museum, that's Harvard, yes?
Yeah, New York Public Library, Nelson Atkins Museum, St. Louis Art Museum,
Dang.
Milwaukee Art Museum, LA County Museum. It was on and on.
Now, do you ever get like fan mail from people who see your work and try to look you up and send you notes and say?
Yeah, I got a card from a dominatrix one time who told me that one of my prints hangs in her dungeon.
That is awesome.
It's the best piece of fan mail I ever got.
That is awesome. Was that in St. Louis?
Yes.
Yes. So, what are you working on right now, presently?
I'm working on my next big triptych.
Now, for those of the people out there who don't know what that is, what is a triptych?
It's a 3-paneled piece of visual art that are all related in some way, basically based on religious art from the 15th and 16th century, where they would tell the religious tale in 3 panels above an altar, like an altar piece, 3 panels.
Would I be safe to say that your art doesn't really depict anything religious?
No, there's religion in there,
Mm-hmm.
but it's usually a religious figure's getting their due.
Ah, I see. Mocking somebody somewhere, someplace.
Yeah, not just religious figures, cops and...
And you've done several of these before, right? And how long do these things take?
I can spend on a big triptych about 3.5 years.
How do you make a living doing something for 3.5 years with one piece?
I sell them for a lot of money,
Yeah.
and I sell cheaper prints too.
Okay. So do you do linoleum cuts as well?
I do linoleum cuts. I do work in all sizes at all price points.
Mm-hmm.
I am my own funding. I fund the work with the sales of smaller prints that aren't as expensive as the big stuff.
Now you have, I noticed you have a crew of people that help you do things. What's their function in your studio? What do you
They're
have them do?
apprentices. I run an old-fashioned print shop. The model is from the 1600s. They are apprentices, and they work for me in exchange for a key, and I buy all their materials. They give me 2 days a week of work on my stuff, printing, whatever, and they work on their stuff at my shop too.
That sounds like a fantastic deal.
Well, they typically are kids that get out of undergrad that don't want to go to graduate school right away, or they don't want to go to graduate school.
Do they have aspirations of doing things like you're doing?
Yes. Or going to graduate school and then figuring it out as they go, but most of them do.
Now, you spoke tonight about this Outlaw Group that you're part of. Tell us a little bit about that.
They're all my friends, and we're a loosely connected group of artists that do social commentary and satire in traditional printmaking forms and we operate outside of academia.
That sounds like the movie Old School. Yeah, that sounds great.
We don't.
Do you have a fraternity?
It is a fraternity, pretty much one big fraternity.
Now,
Animal House.
Yeah,
that's what it's like.
Are they all over?
They're all over the country.
All over the country. So how often do you contact with them?
We do events, maybe 3 or 4 a year, big print sales together, print fairs, and 3, 4, 5 times a year we all get together and do things, and we are in shows together regularly.
Was the Mad Art Gallery thing a couple years back, was that part of the Outlaw Group?
I can't remember. I think if it was Cannonball Press, yes.
Yes, it was Cannonball
They're
Press.
Outlaw printmakers,
Okay.
and we were all involved in that. I can't remember.
That was cool.
We did a show at the Contemporary at CAM here in St. Louis 6 years ago. We do those things.
Are there smaller museums that have interest in your work as well?
Yeah, I sell a lot to regional museums. It's really, it has a life of its own at this point. You don't know when something's going to pop up. My work is sold through dealers, myself, and mostly you just never know where a sale's going to come from necessarily.
Do your prints ever show up on eBay?
Yes.
You didn't look very happy there. So
I'm fine with it showing up on eBay. It's just sometimes they're overpriced.
Is that a bad thing?
It can be. I don't like people getting ripped off.
You know, a recent John Singer Sargent just sold for $136 million. So, you think he would have felt the same way about that?
He'd be pissed off.
Tell us what you do your woodcuts on. What kind of wood is this?
I use birch plywood, finish grade plywood that are bought at mom and pop lumber yards. Do not go to it's crap.
For our sponsors,
sorry.
No, that's fine. And there's no knots or any imperfections. That's what that is, right?
Right. And it's hard enough that I can keep good detail.
What kind of tools do you use?
I use Japanese wood gouges.
And you get those where?
You can get them at art supply stores anywhere, but printmaking supply places like McLean's in Portland or Seattle, wherever they're at.
Right.
Yeah.
And are they fairly expensive? Good
They're
ones?
pretty expensive, but one set will last you your whole life.
Yeah. That depends how long you live, of course.
That is true.
Okay. So
the longer you live, better deal they are.
So when you're through with these pieces, these big pieces, or even small pieces, what do you do with the original woodcut?
I sell them. I sell the blocks.
And to whom do you sell them?
Collectors.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how long is that taken to?
You never know.
Okay.
You never know. Sometimes a block will sit around a shop for a year or 2 or 5, and then someone will come along and is like, I really like that block. How much? That kind of thing.
I was recently at your studio, and you were working on a piece that was about 4 feet high, I guess.
I'm still working.
You're still working on that.
I got a month and a half to finish it.
Okay, and why the big hurry?
I'm getting sick of working on it, and I'm moving on. I got a new idea. A new old idea that I need to get to.
Got it.
Because I've got the whole next 25 years mapped out.
How many pieces do you think that you crank out during when I say crank, that's only in the nicest sense?
Do maybe 2 big ones a year, probably 6 small ones around that.
And you do some commercial work too.
I do illustration jobs. Yeah. Those I don't pursue those. Those usually come to me. I get asked. I have channels that I've done stuff for now. I do stuff for rock bands.
Yeah, didn't you tour with the rock band at one point?
Yeah, I've done stuff for Motorhead, my favorite band of all time, and I did stuff for the Roots. Oh. What's the show that they're on now?
Yeah.
what's that show? Jimmy Fallon?
Yeah.
They're the house band. I did Phrenology. I did that album cover.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did that.
So the
that was years ago. That was like 12 years ago.
So the other band, though, you actually went on the road with them.
I went on the road with them.
With Motorhead. How
it contributed to ending my academic career.
So what was that experience like besides ending your academic career?
It ended my academic career.
Did it convince you that you better stop?
I was leaving the academic career anyway. This just broke the camel's back.
Do you ever enter any kinds of contests or competitions of any kind?
No. I just don't. I don't know if I believe in them, art competitions, But I just never did. I never did that.
Well, I can tell you that the Artists Guild would love to see some of your stuff entered in some of these things.
I'm not going to enter the Artists Guild, man.
Okay.
I love the Artists Guild.
That's entirely up to you, of course.
I know. But the thing about it is, I like to leave that. Prints are hard putting it in contests. I don't like calling them contests, like juried exhibitions.
Right.
People don't like that. It gets a bad rap, juried exhibitions with prints, because he's got 5 prints in 5 different shows and 5.
So do you think that
boroughs.
people don't perceive that as being original art?
Yes. So I tend to stay out of the juried things. I got my start in juried competitions, though. I did when I was early, before I had sold anything. I had a couple of things in some juried shows, and they really helped.
Yeah.
But I don't want to pay the $50, I'm not going to pay the fee and then get rejected.
How bad would that be?
It sucks.
Yeah,
Rejection sucks,
yeah.
man. If I got rejected, I'd be destroyed.
That's right. Absolutely. I can see that.
I'd be really pissed off.
So you'd rather be rejected in your own studio, or...
I get rejected all the time in my own studio.
Yeah.
Shay. Yeah. All the time.
I understand.
You got to have one more question.
Well,
I got to have one more.
Have you ever been taller than you are now?
No.
Okay.
Well, actually, that's not true. Due to my dependency on nasal decongestants, I've shrunken.
I tell people who ask me, I've seen pictures of him. What's he really like? He kind of scares me. I said, he's a teddy bear.
Thanks.
He is just a teddy bear.
I am a teddy bear.
I said, if you were blind and you didn't know any different and you talk with him,
it'd be a teddy bear.
He would sound pretty normal.
That's just like a teddy bear.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. Listen, I want to thank you for the evening tonight. You guys, everybody has already walked up to me and said, this is fantastic. This is the best.
It was fun. It was a good crowd.
This is the best ever.
They actually listened, as opposed to when I was teaching.
Oh, well, what are you going to do?
They were all hot.
Yeah, of course they were. And by the way, we're stepping out back in just a couple minutes here. Okay. Oh, you are.